Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Preston Endress. Warning: the following story will be described in graphic detail regarding a true recent crime. Viewer discretion is advised. The foster mother of a 13-year-old boy who was brutally killed in Butler Township is now facing charges for failing to stop or report the deadly abuse carried out by her husband and for allegedly allowing similar violence against 4 other foster children in their home. Virginia Delgado, 34, is charged with 5 felony counts of child endangerment, 4 misdemeanor counts of corruption of minors, and a misdemeanor charge of tampering with evidence. Investigators say Virginia Delgado watched as her husband brutally beat the 13-year-old Sunday night, a violent attack that included whipping, stabbing, and other disturbing acts. Surveillance footage reportedly shows her failing to intervene, then trying to cover it up by telling the other children to clean up the blood and changing the boy's clothes and bedding. Police say when they arrived, the home was blood-splattered in several rooms. The teen, found wearing only underwear, had puncture wounds on his hands, bruises on his sides and back, and a deep cut down his chest. He was taken to Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton, where he was pronounced dead early Monday morning. The couple had 5 foster children and 1 biological child. The foster children, now in protective custody, were also found with serious injuries. We spoke with Luzerne County Manager Imelda Crocomo today about the incident.
When a county places children in an outside area, for example, there are children that we have to place in Pittsburgh, we, Luzerne County, have to send caseworkers out to Pittsburgh once a month to see the children. And these 2 other counties have the responsibility of checking in and seeing these children prior to the adoption. Once children are adopted, then the agencies that procure the adoption, they don't have an obligation to visit the homes. But we wouldn't know that that family was here, and unless they encountered mandated reporters or something was reported to our agency to cause a dependency, to cause our caseworkers to go in, we wouldn't know.
Both Caesar and Virginia Delgado are jailed without bail and are set to appear in court on August 14th. Federal education funding is once again flowing to schools and community programs across Pennsylvania after the U.S. Department of Education reinstated more than $230 million that had been held up during a summer review. The restored grants support programs ranging from teacher training to after-school learning and adult education. While federal money for next year is secured, the state's budget is causing further delays. Reports say at least $2.5 billion in payments are on hold for schools, counties, and service providers. In Luzerne County, several education programs are benefiting from the recent federal funding reinstatement. The next House Appropriations Committee meeting is set for September 29th. The Senate has yet to announce its next session. City employees of Wilkes-Barre can now receive a 50% discount on tuition at Luzerne County Community College, thanks to a new agreement signed with the city on Wednesday. President of LCCC, John Udichak, hopes that the partnership will bring more skilled workers to the city government. The city of Wilkes-Barre will cover 25% of the tuition, while LCCC will cover the other 25%. Employees will be expected to continue their education during their off time and can apply for the discount through the Wilkes-Barre Mayor's Office. The town of Bloomsburg is taking steps to educate residents about the West Nile virus after it was found in mosquitoes there. The Northumberland County Conservation District announced last week that mosquitoes near the sewer plant in Town Park tested positive for the virus. Bloomsburg officials hope that bringing in experts to talk about prevention will help the public avoid illness and to stop the spread. For now, the town has taken steps to trap and prevent more mosquitoes from breeding. They say that residents can help by removing any standing water on their property where they thrive. Symptoms of West Nile virus can range from mild flu-like symptoms to more serious brain inflammation or meningitis. The elderly and immune-compromised are the most at risk. Coming up on WYLN News, the Madonna del Monte Festival returns in Hazleton for the first time since a parish merger. Plus, volunteer firefighters from all over the area will come together for a convention next week. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the Wyln Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Wyln News brought to you by Lehigh Valley Hospital, Hazleton's emergency room team. Your experts in any emergency. When emergencies happen, minutes and expertise count. Lehigh Valley Hospital Hazleton is now part of Jefferson Health.
My name is Alexander Bonomo, and tomorrow's forecast is sunny.
We want your child to be our Wyln Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on Wyln News and Wyln social media posts just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the Wyln News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today. SJ Kowalski is your Mitsubishi Diamond contractor. They can install a Mitsubishi electric Mr. Slim ductless heating and cooling system. Mr. Slim systems are designed to make any living space in your home inviting. You can have a different temperature control for every room in your home. The money-saving technology can save you 25 to 50% on your heating bill. For Mitsubishi, Rinnai, and trained comfort specialists, call SJ Kowalski at 570-455-2600.
Welcome back to Wyln News. A local student and 2 others from Pennsylvania have been selected to receive a scholarship from the Marine Corps Scholarship Foundation. They were celebrated at the biennial scholarship announcement ceremony on Monday, July 28th at Marine Barracks, Washington. The ceremony announced its 2025 to 2026 class of Marine scholars and also honored the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps.
On behalf of the entire Scholarship Foundation and the Board of Directors, I'm proud to announce that we have had a record-breaking year.
MCSF awarded 2,886 scholarships totaling $12,098,500 to students across the country pursuing post-secondary and career and technical education. The 3 students from Pennsylvania were among those in attendance at the ceremony, representing local Marine and Navy corpsman families. One of those students is Daniel Surface from Pocono Summit. He attends Penn State University and majors in computer and information systems. He is set to graduate in 2026. Maternal Family and Health Services gifted supplies for Hazleton area students on Wednesday thanks to a $5,000 grant from the Pasco Schiavo Fund of the Luzerne Foundation. Members of MFHS dropped off 282 backpacks and 300 lunchboxes at Hazel Township Early Learning Center for the students. Some were sent to principals at other schools for distribution. MFHS has offices in Hazleton and at other locations across 17 counties where they supply help to those in need for reproductive health, pregnancy, counseling, WIC nutrition, dental care, and other services. The Madonna del Monte Festival returns to Hazleton this weekend, celebrating 126 years of Italian Catholic tradition at Most Precious Blood Church, 131 East 4th Street in Hazleton. This marks the first festival since the parish merged with Our Lady of Grace to become Our Lady of Peace earlier this year. To honor the occasion, a special tribute will be held for saints from Italy's Salento region, with a procession through the streets of Hazleton on Sunday. Organizers say the 3-day event is a homecoming for many local families, combining faith, food, and fun. The celebration kicks off on Friday at 3 p.m. and continues all weekend, featuring entertainment and a large variety of ethnic food. The festival wraps up on Sunday with morning mass, a procession, and a traditional pasta and meatball dinner from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This event is the largest fundraiser of the year for the newly formed parish. A local business that has been serving the gardening public for over 70 years will be closing its doors next week. The Dundee Garden Facebook page announced on Tuesday that the Hanover Township business will close for good on August 16th. Signs were posted earlier this week saying it was closed to the public and there would be an auction next weekend, but their page announced they would be open for clearance sales this Thursday through Sunday. Dundee Gardens did not reveal the reason for shuttering the decades-old garden decor destination, but the property was listed for sale last year. The Friendship Fire Company, number 1 of Englewood, will be hosting the 71st Annual Schuylkill County Volunteer Firefighters Convention next week. Public events will start on Sunday the 10th and run all week to honor the service and sacrifice of volunteer firefighters from across Schuylkill County. The week-long convention ends on Saturday the 16th with a parade through Butler Township and Frackville Borough, featuring fire companies, hundreds of fire apparatus, marching bands, and community organizations. Friendship Fire Company number 1 is celebrating their 100th anniversary of serving the area. Coming up on West Hazelton's News Choice, we continue last week's Community and You conversation about exciting events happening at the Hazelton Art League. Plus, WYLN historian Chris Fulmer leads us down the path through history in Hughesville Part 1. And stay right here on WYLN. We'll be right back.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on WYLN TV 35.
PPW Nation, get ready for the best of PPW Season 2. Join Paul Bowe, E. Julius Kuiper, Alexander Bravado, Tom Mitchell, and Alex Watt as we take you down memory lane and relive some of the best PPW matches of all time. Saturdays at 5 p.m., Sundays at 10 p.m., only on WYLN.
Come in and share their knowledge and their skills and their experience. I learned quite a lot from professional artists by taking workshops over the years. So it really is a great opportunity, and it's right here in Hazelton.
Such an honorable thing, I guess.
It is, and at the Hazelton Art League, we're really trying to expand what we offer, and by having something like this, it's really something that will draw people into the area. And this is something that I encourage people to sign up as soon as possible, because we want to make sure that we have enough people to have this event and to continue. And it's really something that I think is important for the artistic community, which, by the way, we have an enormous amount of talent. And coming to the Art League, you can see that the kids doing their artwork is fantastic, the en plein air artists, and we have so many different opportunities, and we have one thing that we have to do is raise money. And so Jane, not only is she an artist, but she's on our board of directors. And so we have these uncomfortable conversations where we say, what are we going to do to maintain the Hazelton Art League, which has been in Hazelton for over 75 years? And how do we keep that going? We're in the beautiful Hayden Family Center for the Arts right here in downtown Hazelton. So what we're going to be doing is having a golf tournament called Color the Course. It's our 3rd annual Color the Course golf tournament. And there are so many opportunities to be a sponsor. The big sponsor will be a $5,000 sponsor, but you can do anything from be a whole sponsor for $150 or donate something for a tricky tray. And of course, we're looking for golfers as well. And at the end of play, we are going to be treated by a delicious cuisine by none other than Jane's husband, Martin Bukowski, who is the chef at the Valley Country Club. So I have no idea what he has in store for us, Jane, but I can tell you his food is delicious.
It's sure to be good. So.
And not only that, we have our Peace, Love, and Chalk that's going to happen on Sunday the 14th. So this information will be coming out soon. I ask people to go to our website at hazeltonartleague.org, and that will be a best way for you to get information on what's happening. If you are a member, we do send out these postcards, so you'll be getting a postcard in the mail with the information that we have going on. But the website is always a good place to go. And in October, we have an exhibition. It's going to be, everybody is invited. You don't have to be a member of the Hazleton Art League, of science fiction. And yes, so I'm hoping to see a video of yours in the science fiction thing.
Do I have any of those? I gotta look. I gotta scroll through my stuff. I gotta find. I do have a project that I did back in 2015. Wow, that was 10 years ago. That was incredible. Wow. But yeah, it's science fiction related, and I do, in fact, enjoy the realm of making science fiction material for any age of any kind.
That's fantastic, and that's going to be in the month of October. And in addition to that exhibition, we have the Hazleton Area Garden Club, and they're going to be doing Art in Bloom, which is where they choose a particular work of art and they create a floral arrangement that represents that work of art. So it's a twofer.
We have a lot to look forward to then.
Yes, and I invite everybody to come to the Hayden Family Center for the Arts this Friday, August 1st, between 5 and 8. It's free. We'll have some refreshments there. There's going to be One Hope Wine. They will be offering promotions, and every bottle of wine that you buy with One Hope helps support the Hazleton Art League. So 10% of your purchase goes towards the Hazleton Art League. And then on Sunday, from 1 to 3, is going to be the Artist Talk. Will you be there, Jane?
Unfortunately, this weekend I will be out of town, but the Artist Talk, that is the highlight of the show, where the artists will be there and people can come and they can ask questions and learn about how the artist goes about making their work, what inspires them. And it is just very informative and truly enriches your experience with viewing the artwork.
It's really something special to have that conversation with the artist and be able to learn about their process, the philosophy behind their work, and all of those things. So it's something that I highly recommend.
Well, there's a lot of events, and they all sound exciting, and they have a ton of wild factors that are, I gotta say, that they sound very hard to ignore.
This is true.
Well, is there anything else that's coming up that you'd like to bring up for those watching Community and you right now?
Well, we have, there's a health fair that's going to be taking place on August 28th. That the Hazleton Art League is partnering with various organizations. We are also always open for new members. It's $30 for the year to be a member of the Hazleton Art League, and you get so much value out of it. Our fall classes will be coming up soon. You can see what's going to be happening on our website. We have an amazing facility for people to visit. I always love it when people come to the Hazleton Art League for the first time and they get to experience the Hayden Family Center for the Arts. We're right there at 31 West Broad Street between Wyoming and Laurel. Can-Do Community Park is right there. There's so much that we have to offer. It would be a very long conversation, so I just want to encourage people to come to the Hazleton Art League. Right, Jane?
Right, and parking is available right next to the Art League to the right. There's a few spaces that are free, but there is also the Feely Parking Plaza, which is right there, well lit, super convenient, and you can purchase a reduced rate token in the office of the Hazleton Art League when you come in to spend any length of time viewing a show or for a class or whatever. So parking is available and convenient and well lit.
Excellent. And I should mention that the Hazleton Art League parking spaces are on Spruce Street behind the Art League, as Jane mentioned. And to get to the Feely parking lot, you enter on Wyoming. So it couldn't be easier.
Well, I gotta say, after all this, I'm quite encouraged, and Yeah, I'm going to look forward to this at all.
Yeah, I know we're going to see you soon, and I look forward to seeing everybody from Hazleton. And yo quiero decir también que hablo español, entonces la gente que se habla español está bienvenida también.
Very good. Well, I think we covered enough here, don't you think?
I think so.
All right. Well, I guess that'll be it for Community and You today. We covered a lot, and definitely nothing boring, and it's all a bunch of excitement. I guess we'll see you next time.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969. A Path Through History is sponsored by the Old Jail Museum, 128 West Broad Street in Jim Thorpe. Call 570-325-5259 or visit them online at theoldjailmuseum.com.
The first known European to settle in the area of today's Hughesville was David Aspen, who arrived in 1777. He would be killed by local Native Americans the following year while traveling back to his farm from Fort Muncie, where he had taken shelter during previous Native attacks on settlers in the area. A later prominent landowner in the area would be John Heap, who took possession of his holdings in May 1793. And then there would be Jephthah Hughes. Born in Danville in 1791, he was the son of Quaker Thomas Hughes, who had built Danville's Presbyterian Church. Jephthah became quite well-to-do in his own right, and in 1816 he purchased John Heap's land and began laying out the beginnings of a community on it. 4 years later, Hughes sold his holdings to Daniel Harold and moved with his wife, the former Elizabeth Hill, and their 8 children north of Tioga County. They settled on what was named Beecher's Island near Blossburg Mountain, where coal was prevalent. Hughes foresightly knew that the coal would make a fortune for others, and indeed, in subsequent years, the Erie Railroad would build a line from the mines at Blossburg to Tioga Junction. Hughes subsequently moved again to the town of Mitchell's Creek, alongside today's Route 15, and died there in 1866. Jephthah Hughes rests today in Tioga County, in Tioga's Evergreen Cemetery. Back in Lycoming County, the community Jephthah Hughes had left behind would be named in his honor, originally as Hughesburg, but later Hughesville when it was incorporated in 1852. The first tavern in town was opened by Paul Willey in 1820. The first doctor in Hughesville was Dr. John W. Peel, who arrived in 1828, and the Tingley and Corson blacksmith shop was the first of its kind in the community, opened for service in 1820. As with many towns of the time, milling was a strong early business in the community. The first mill in town was built by Jacob Clayton in 1819 on Race and Mill Streets. Civil War troops gathered there in 1861 for a final meal before going off to war. The mill burned down later in 1861. It was subsequently rebuilt. The facility, then known as Ball's Mill, burned down again in 1912. A third brick mill rose on the site again in 1916. It was at this time that the mill's wheel was replaced by turbines. Now called the Keystone Mill, its mill race was closed in 1957, no longer having enough water to run the mill hydrologically due to the ice damage on the race a decade prior. The mill is subsequently electrified and continues in operation to this day. Another Hughes mill got started in 1912, purchased by father and son Samuel and Raymond Faught in 1926, and renamed to the Samuel Faught & Sons Mill. Upon Samuel's death in 1944, it was renamed to the R.S. Faught & Sons Mill. By 1979, when Raymond's son Benjamin Robert owned it, it was Pennsylvania's largest buckwheat mill still in operation. Its time would come to an end that year, however, as on May 20th, 1979, a tremendous fire broke out in the mill, effectively destroying it. It would later be determined that the fire was caused by the spontaneous combustion of high-moisture dog food being stored in the mill's attic, which was heated up by sunlight to the point of conflagration. The Faughts Mill's operations were subsequently moved to the Keystone Mill. For education, the youth of Hughesville could go to the Newman one-room schoolhouse, which opened for classes in 1841. It was rebuilt in 1876 and the current red brick building was built in 1897. The last classes at the Newman School were in 1955. Today, the school building, which still stands along today's Route 220, serves as the Little Red Schoolhouse Museum. One of Hughesville's biggest notable early businesses was the Rishel Furniture Company. It had begun as a planing mill owned by James Laird in the 1850s. In 1869, his son John entered into a partnership with Dr. J.K. Rishel. Their factory, which made bedroom suites, eventually took up the entire block of Academy Street between 3rd and 4th Streets, between two 3-story buildings connected with an enclosed conveyor belt. With 295,932 square feet of interior floor space, the Rishel Furniture Factory once advertised itself as the largest factory in the entire United States. Rishel merged with Williamsport's Auto Furniture Factory in 1900 and subsequently began making dining room suites to complement their bedroom suites. For many decades, the Rishel Furniture Factory is one of Hughesville's biggest employers. Its time would come to a grim end, though, on the evening of November 4th, 1965. Shortly after the second shift had left the factory around 12:30 a.m., a massive fire broke out in the building. It soon consumed the entire complex, aided by a strong wind. The flames would get intense enough that metal roof pieces and lacquer barrels exploded high in the air from the heat, and nearly a dozen nearby homes suffered paint blistering and smoke damage. 9 fire companies with over 300 responding firefighters battled the blaze for the next several hours. No one was injured in the fire, but when it was finally extinguished, the factory was a complete loss. Rishel Furniture subsequently moved its Hughesville employees to a satellite factory in Williamsport. Industry also took roots on the outside of Hughesville proper in the community's early years. Just north of Hughesville, on the road to Picture Rocks, the village of Bryantown sprang up in the early 1800s. A woolen mill was built by community founder Ellis Bryan in 1830. It would be replaced by a larger 3-story building in 1866. It was operated by water power from a nearby waterfall. 25,000 pounds of wool per year were processed at the mill, originally exclusively to make yarn, but eventually for a wider range of products, including clothing and blankets. The success of the woolen mill led to the birth of other mills in the Bryantown area, among them a grist mill and a hub factory, which originally made hubs for cannons during the Civil War, and afterwards switched to making hubs for wagon wheels. Known in its later years as the Eagle Mill, the woolen mill of Bryantown last operated regularly in 1925, although production would continue on a restricted basis through 1939. The Bryantown woolen mill was torn down in 1953. The first Lycoming County Fair was held in Williamsport around 1859. Roughly a decade later, 10 prominent residents of the Muncie Valley met in 1868 at Hughesville's Oddfellows Hall and formed the Muncie Valley Farmers Club, with Dr. George Hill elected as its first president, to discuss agricultural topics. The group would decide 2 years later to hold their own farming exhibition. The Hughesville Trotting Park on the southern side of the borough was chosen as the location for this exhibition, known at the time as the Farmers Club Fair, which today is considered to officially be the first Lycoming County Fair. The inaugural 1870 fair had 1,000 entrants and featured a parade including the Hughesville Band and livestock marching through the town to the fairgrounds. In the fair's early years, it was held from Monday through Saturday, and beginning in 1873, the very first newspaper in Hughesville, the Canuserago Daily Herald, was published during Fair Week, with a subscription cost of $25 for all 6 issues. The fair moved to its current site in 1874, originally encompassing 20 acres of land. Williamsport, though, still made its case in the late 19th century to be the fair's permanent location, holding its own fairs during this time at both the site of today's Bowman Field and the city's Valemont section. Eventually, the Hughesville location proved to have larger support, and it was chosen as the Lycoming County Fair's permanent site in the early 1900s, although the Fair's Association did not formally purchase this land until 1915. A clay racetrack was built in the fairgrounds in 1916. Originally used exclusively for horse racing, it held motorcycle and automobile racing in the 1920s, with such well-known drivers of the time as Joey Chitwood, Ted Horn, and Johnny Parsons. Car racing continued at the fair through the 1950s. Construction began in the late 20s on an airfield at the fairgrounds. It was dedicated in September 1930 and would become a critical refueling stop for mail flights between New York City and Cleveland. The airport would have its first official use a year before its official opening, however, on March 14, 1929. Amelia Earhart, who was flying toward Bellefonte, got lost en route, and noticing the fairgrounds airfield, made an emergency landing on it before her fuel ran out. The fair was not held from 1942 to 1944 due to World War II, and suffered a loss on September 4, 1944, when a large wooden exhibition building was struck by lightning and burned down. The fair reopened in 1945. The airfield was removed in the 1950s, around the time the fair was moved from the fall to mid-July and expanded to 10 days. The fair was shut down again during a massive windstorm in 1969, which was severe enough that blew over concrete grandstand support poles.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.